All right, we are back with another special edition for you. Special guest is a world renowned musician, vocalist, writer, and we are celebrating the late, great Joey Jordison and, of course, the group VIMIC. Please welcome Kalen Chase.
Hello. If I vomit or pass out from heat stroke, that's just good press.
Oh my gosh, where are you today?
I am in. I'm in a yard with mud and trees. We have some great weather in Nashville, so had to get to work. And the sun is my natural enemy, but I'd rather uh, I'd rather be here than dead.
Well, we appreciate you breathing. We'd much prefer that. And we are celebrating now, coming on the fourth anniversary of the loss of one Nathan Jonas, Joey Jordison. Of course, April 26, 75 through July 26, 21. Of course, original drummer of Slipknot, and then into the Murder Dolls. And my gosh, VIMIC. Talk about how this project. I know Joey was very prolific, having helped form Slipknot in Des Moines, and of course Scar the Martyr, and now VIMIC. Talk about Joey as a creative person. For many of us, we only heard the records, but knowing him and seeing him in action, please pay tribute to the one and only.
Well, I was fortunate enough to meet him in 2007. I would have been playing in Korn as the background vocalist, percussionist, and for about a year. And he came in to fill in for a year while Slipknot wasn't doing anything. Um, and I met him at a rehearsal right in the beginning before we went on our world tour. And I walked in and saw him talking to one of the crew, and I just walked by. We ended up talking that day, and I remember he came up to me. Well, he was getting told about how professional everything was and how no drinking beer or anything. And I walked by with a 6 pack of Bud Lights. If you can have a beer, it's okay. And he laughed, and he came to me later that day, and like when we were on break, and said, "Hey, man, just want to know." Like he was asking about like what he should do, what he should expect, and even though he's an established drummer, he was already one of the greats. He cared so much about doing the best for the project, and I just said, "Dude, just play your drums. You're pretty good at that. Don't worry." And we exchanged numbers. He called me later that night, and we ended up hanging out every single night after rehearsal, just talking about music and getting to know each other. And we shared a bus that whole year and became inseparable on the road and afterwards. And what caught me was his absolute drive and care for everything. He never rested on his laurels. I mean, he could have, and some people do, but I think the greats realize there's always more to achieve.
Well, of course, he played drums and guitar. Talk about the fact that he was multi-talented and could switch up and play multiple instruments.
It, I was amazed at his drive and ability in that sense. He was a fantastic guitar player. I mean, he was a riff monster. He and our former guitar player Chris, they were the ones like when we were doing pre-production at his house. Like every day, he's on the couch with 6, 7, or 8 string guitar, just working on riffs, constantly thinking about music. And he played with my band, The Changing, on one song at the Family Values tour. He's like, "Dude, I'll play." I was like, "Well, our drummer's already kind of there." He's like, "No, I'll play guitar," and he crushed it. Uh, just an all-around musician and somebody who loves music the way he does. It's not a surprise, but it's a rarity in that extent.
Well, that is amazing. How'd the Project Vimic come about as far as the songs and the recording?
So he had done Scar the Martyr as a side project when he was still doing Slipknot, and we even talked a little bit about potentially doing it, and he was hesitant because he knew it was a side project. And I totally understood that he didn't want to go back on a 2-year tour or year-long record and leave me hanging, because I was still very much trying to be my own musician as well. And I always appreciated that when he was no longer in Slipknot and he wanted to do something fully on his own, something different, something uncomparable. I got the call, and he sent me a couple tracks he'd been working on with Chris, and I laid down some lyrics. And he flew me out to Iowa, and we hung out at his house for a couple of weeks and wrote about 9 songs. And we did that 3 or 4 times, and just created what was VIMIC. And he brought the Scar the Martyr boys, Jed, Matt, Kyle, and when Chris had left, we ended up getting Steve Marshall, who filled out the ranks perfectly, and it was just a big musical happy family of, as my boys like to say, goofballs.
Well, I know we're talking about the release of Open Your Omen. You did a Kickstarter campaign, very successful. There's a tribute show coming up in the fall, and Wednesday 13, who Joey worked with in the Murder Dolls, will be involved. Talk about the release of the album in this honoring show for Joey.
This is a massive, massive surprise and blessing for all of us involved, the family, and the fan base coming together and helping raise the money like this was incredible. We beyond our expectations, and it's going to make a really good show. Everybody in the community, like so many people I've talked to, even if they can't be there, they want to help in some way and show their support. So it's just a testament to how loved Joey was and how kind and how big his heart was. So our goal is to make a fucking spectacle, a massive, massive spectacle that will honor Joey the way he loved it. You know, he loved it big, he loved it loud, and he loved it heavy. So that's the goal.
Well, the Terragram Ballroom is the place the Joey Jordison Charitable Fund will not only honor him, but do great, great work. Like you say, Slipknot was kind of a mysterious band behind the mask and the imagery. We knew very little about, Joey and some of the characters, but you're helping to enlighten the fact that he was much more than that. He had creativity pouring from every pore, and that this project, as others, were outlets for him to express himself. He couldn't be limited to one.
Oh no, I mean when I played with Ministry, he played with Korn, Sinsanum. I always joked that, and I used to make fun of him. It was like, Joe, you're just in every band. Like you're probably in Journey. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You're in every band. He just was constantly wanting to put output, create music and be involved in music. And I don't think that ever changed. And his heart for music was so big. And that's why the charitable organization is so important for us, because we knew how important it was for him to to bring guitars in school. Joey wants to bring drums in school, which I'm all about. Like, let's make some noise, get the kids involved.
Well, it is important to honor those that are no longer with us, but the music lives on. Talk about the writing of the songs for Open Your Omen. How did they come together? Was it people in a room, or people bringing in finished ideas that would be fleshed out? What was the process?
So the production of the record, pre-production, all happened in Joey's house. Like I said, like I had a few days in Los Angeles. He sent me a song or two, and I just sent him some lyrics and laid them down in my buddy's studio. And he flew me out, and he had a studio in his basement, and he and the guitar player would flesh out the music. And I would wake up, and I generally have 1, 2, or 3 song ideas, and I'd choose 1 or 2 of them. And I would go sit in the bathroom with my pink notebook and a thing of saltines and write music or lyrics. And we would sometimes get a couple of times 3 done a day if it was a really long, good day. And we just built up a large quantity of songs, and we chose the best ones to make the record. But that was kind of how it was. Joey was constantly riffing, Chris was doing that, and they would just exchange ideas. And I just took whatever songs I gravitated toward and wrote my weird little lyrics.
Well, besides a tribute to Joey, also this record is somewhat of a tribute to Kato Kanwala, the late great producer who not only worked on this project but with the Pretty Reckless and Pop Evil. Talk about,
Yes.
Once you heard the final playback of this record, what was your thoughts and feeling?
Well, it was, the whole process was incredible. We were at Sound Farm after we did the pre-production at Joey's house, and when we found out we were working with Kato, I'd never worked with him. I hadn't met him. It was kind of a new situation for all of us, and we were stuck in a farm basically with an amazing studio surrounded by cornfields. And he rolls in and he shook it up. I mean, he challenged me. Vocally, he challenged everybody's ideas, and his creative influence, his part of being involved with the band and that record is all throughout it. And I'm so glad that people are going to get to hear his production genius. He was special, and I got to work with him. He came to LA after that and worked at a studio called Sphere, and I was involved with the Pop Evil project and all of his other projects, pretty much doing background vocals and vocal production. So I worked with him extensively until his death. So that was an incredible loss for me and everybody. He was an amazing man, and I'm glad that it is a tribute to him as well as Joey. And I thank you for bringing it up, because I want people to know this is for both of them.
What is super exciting to share new music and celebrate the greats. And I know one little sidebar here, when Slipknot was touring and they and Metallica were playing the Download Festival in 2004, Lars Ulrich came down with a unknown illness, was hospitalized. James Hetfield searched among the other bands that were on the festival and chose Joey and Dave Lombardo and Fleming Larson, who was Lars' drum tech. But Joey performed 8 of the 13 songs that day. They deemed him the hero of the day, and really stood up. So he has so many credits, like you mentioned, so many bands, but this is a very special one. And I know it was a lot of courageous work to get in here and make this happen. Who is who survives Joey? What family members still are alive to help run his estate?
The not to get into too many details, the family involved that we're working with are Joey's amazing sisters, Katie and Annie. They're the ones who have been putting this together with us, and just to respect everybody else's privacy. His family's all involved and wonderful people, but Katie and Annie and my manager Crystal have come. Crystal Gans have come together to make this happen, and we owe them everything. They're the adults, for us goofballs. We're just dumb metal musicians trying to, hump our instruments and make noise, but they're the ones making this happen.
Well, we appreciate the input, and of course we celebrate your years with the mighty Korn. Korn continues on. I know we've spoken before about your times in the band, and it's important. We're losing so many of our heroes these days. It's almost like every week we look up and there's a shocking obituary of somebody that we grew up listening to, and of course their music will live on forever. But life is somewhat of a fragile thing, so we must celebrate those that are still with us, and for those that are no longer with us, we need to keep their memory and their legacy alive, as you've done with the mighty Joey Jordison. Our special guest is the one and only Kalen Chase. Kalen, we appreciate your time out there in the crazy wilds of Tennessee. The heat, the rain, the natural elements are always a challenge. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to not only spreading the word on this amazing album and event, but following up with you after to hear all the great details. Thank you so much for joining us.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.